Alrighty. Alright, I guess we're live now. About time. Apologies, typical Facebook issues. I tell you, man, this has just been a pain in the butt with these things here. Okay.
We'll get us playing.
Yeah, let's get us playing here so we got something going on. 5 minutes ago. Have you got the current live video up yet?
It's lagging, but it's up.
Alrighty. Okay.
It's just now saying what I said.
Alright, yeah. Yeah, generally there's like a 20-second lag between the time the... Yeah, it's something to do with Facebook just lags, and I don't know why that is. And if we back out, it's a pain in the butt to get back.
I got you.
So anyway, well, here we are, live. I still haven't got us up on Facebook, but I'll eventually get to it. We are live now. This is our second episode. Sorry about the problems we had to begin with. Facebook connection issues as usual. Who knows? Anyway, we've got Donna Ross with us tonight. This is Donna's second time up here.
Yes,
She's running for Alderman, position 4. So we're just going to have a conversation tonight. I've had one question that has been sent to me that we'll get to, and I think we'll probably save this towards the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Because this is probably going to be a controversial issue that I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about with what's going on right now around town. We'll get to that point here shortly, but I'm just going to start naming off topics, and let's just have a discussion.
Let's just do it.
Property taxes.
Property taxes. We got to stop these property taxes. You know, we talked about that when I was here before.
Yep.
We're a small town. We've got to live within our means. We've got to quit. We're spending like we're have the tax revenue of Franklin or Belle Meade or somewhere, you know. And we said that in the beginning. But James, over these last several weeks being out in this community, sitting in people's houses, sitting on their couches, on their front porches, we have people that truly don't have enough money to eat at the end of the month. I mean, I was talking to a lady. She has burned into my mind because I've known her my whole life and I love her. And of course, I'll never name who this person is, but she's drawing $1,200 a month on Social Security. By the grace of God, her home is paid for. It's where she raised her children. She told me, she said, Donna, I've got car insurance coming due. I got a house insurance coming due. I've got to buy my medicine. I've got to pay my light bill. I've got to pay my utilities, my gas. How you do that on $1,200 a month, James? And she told me, she said, I just can't do any more. I just can't do any more.
You know,
I believe her. I know this woman.
I had a landlord that's absorbed the last 2 property tax increases and did not go up on their rent.
Wow.
Because you know what? The renters can't afford it.
That's right.
He's getting $450, which I mean is unheard of right now. I mean,
You
can't
absolutely
find it. You cannot
unheard
find.
of.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know if you could find a doghouse for $450 a month right this moment.
You'd be hard pressed.
But they haven't raised their rates because they understand what's going on. But at the same point in time frame, when they got to start pulling money out of their pocket, and this is an investment property. You don't lose on investments. I mean, that's not what you're looking to do.
That's right.
And when you knowingly are going to lose, that's hard for any investor to look at.
Right. Well, and most investors, they buy those properties for retirement income.
Right.
And, you know, then it begins chipping into their income. I had a commercial investor this week called me and he said, you know, I'm really thinking selling everything I got. If they don't stop going up, it's just not profitable for me to stay.
Can you fault them?
Absolutely not.
You know, it doesn't only hit, you know, and this is one of the things that people can't understand. we rent this shop, and I'm going to tell you right now, I have had my rent's gone up 3 times.
Right.
All 3 times is when we actually had a property tax increase. That's it. My rent's never gone up from there. I don't fault my landlord. I mean,
He has to pay.
that's right. This is a retirement income.
That's right.
And you know, if he absorbs it, then I mean, now all of a sudden we start hitting his income.
That's
You know,
correct.
when you start looking at these things here, and yeah, you know what? There's people out here who's got hundreds of properties, and that's their retirement income. Yeah, sure. You know, they could take a hit here or there, but when you've got somebody that say bought a house, a starter house, and eventually bought another house, and that starter house is now a rental house. You know, that is the only property they've got that they've rented, and that's revenue that they're looking for. Well, if it's not bringing in X amount of profit where they're budgeting, it starts hitting them.
That's right.
You know,
Well, and it's not only the investor; it's the actual homeowner. So, you know, when we talked about this before, we didn't really discuss escrows and how that. So let's just say that somebody has let's say their property taxes go up on their property $30 a month. That escrow account that they've got sitting there with their mortgage right now is built up based on the prior years. So the mortgage company gets this bill that all of a sudden they've been shorted $30 a month in paying. Well, that next year, not only do they have to pay the 30 they're short for this year, they got to pay the 30 to make up for the next year. So that person's house payment goes up $60 a month for that period of time. It don't just go up $30 a month.
Right.
And so you take that plus the additional cost on the garbage and the utility. I mean, people are struggling. People are struggling.
And what really kills me is like garbage. That's a great one to bring up. We're a commercial, $62.50 a month, but garbage almost doubled.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, the services that we were getting have been reduced. And this was actually brought up in a meeting by the mayor. Mm-hmm. Pointed it out to the public works director.
I remember it. Sure do.
And it's like, you know, what are we getting for what we pay for? Now, from what I understand, and this wasn't before, but apparently it is now, is if you are a city resident and you go out to the city transfer station, well, guess what? You got to pay the minimum $10 out there, unless they've gone up. I don't know if they've gone up. I haven't been out there since all that happened. But you're already paying for garbage anyway. You're actually saving the city by doing that there, because they ain't got to have a truck come by and pick up trash from your house.
Right. Well, and yesterday on when you had posted the reschedule, Miss Bavivian asked me, what about the recycling program? Well, if we look at that, and I answered her on that post, I since Gordon said $330,000 a year in cost on recycling, I've been noticing as I've been driving around on garbage day, we don't have a big buy-in on our recycling. We don't have a lot of blue cans.
Oh.
So why are we spending $330,000 a year on recycling? I love Mother Earth. I do. I want to do what's best. But I also want our senior citizens in this city to have enough money left over at the end of the month that they're not having to survive on ramen noodles or whatever's left over in the pantry.
And we had to have a separate, I remember, a meeting about buying a recycling truck. So we had to have
it's just
expense after expense, and then you got to have people to staff that, a driver for that truck. So all of that stuff adds up.
That's right.
And you're right. Those are cuts that can be made.
That's right.
You get it. There's ways around all of this here.
Yeah.
Now, you were in that meeting where the second reading of the budget, where it got passed. $497,000. Now, I still cannot find in my budget anywhere where it gives me the value of a penny. I guess I'm gonna have to make a public records request of that. Last year it was somewhere around about $27,000. I'm going to say it probably hasn't changed much. I could be wrong. It may have gone up some, may have gone down some. But let's just say $27,000. We're going to take $497 I think I came up with around about 11 cents. I must have had something wrong yesterday. 497,000
Mm-hmm.
divided by 27,000, which comes up to 18.4 cents.
That's right.
That means to make up that money, and a lot of it was doled out in salary raises,
Yes, it was.
which are recurring expenses.
Yes, they were.
Where are we going to get the money unless we keep pulling it out of a rainy day fund till we exhaust it?
We have got to prioritize streamlining these operations. I mean, we have got to cut our spending. We have got to cut our spending. And if you look, so we're over how much for, what'd you say, for?
497 is what they...
497. Well, recycling's 350 of that 497. But that's the way my brain works. That's the way I see things. But that we cannot, if the spending is not cut, there's no way to sustain the current spending without a tax increase. That's why I'm saying we've got to have smart spending. We have got to cut the spending.
We do. I mean, it's crazy how much is going on. All right, we got some comments in here. Let's yeah, Bobby, I saw that there. Your comment up here. Yeah, that was, and that's. Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's down here. It's part of the good old system. That's the good old boy system. That's.
I just think it's regressive. I think if we've got full-time leaders that are leading and that are working, we need full-time leaders that are working.
Right, that are working.
We've got some serious challenges ahead of this city, and it's not a part-time challenge.
No.
We need serious leaders to face these serious. I mean, we've got some big things, James.
Yes, we do. Some mighty big things.
Mighty big things.
And if and this isn't where I can't say it enough to people. There's 4 positions. If just one of those 4 is not chosen with the right person, it can send us to 2 more years of this here. And at this spending cycle, if there's a 4-3 board with this spending cycle in 2 years, I mean, we could be seeing a 74-cent property tax increase if something is not done. I cannot stress how important this election is. Let me see here. Damon, yeah, you know what? I'm going to agree with you on that one, brother. Mandatory garbage pickup in forced government. It's forced government. If people can save $300 to $400 a year, let them opt out. Then cut down on the trash department. Now, I'm going to say something here.
Mm-hmm.
I pay $62.50 a month. I have 4 tall kitchen trash bags that come out of here, maybe 5 a month.
And you pay $62.50.
I'm paying $62.50 to have them picked up. Now you know what? I also pay county taxes, and I got to access. Everybody in the city pays county taxes and has access to the solid waste department over there on Mig Drive. We are forced to take garbage in the city because it is piggybacked on the utilities bill. Even though it's a totally separate department, I'm with Damon. If we can take and cut off garbage and opt not to take it, we could save money. Now, I know I've heard, well, right now because of, well, and this was a question I brought up, conversation brought up with Jack. I'll bring it up with you as well. We had almost double our rates. And in doing so, that tells us, oh, well, we're no longer using any property taxes. We're collecting it all on whatchamacallit. Well, okay. You doubled our rates on garbage on the enterprise account, so it's self-sustaining. Are you still giving money out of property taxes? Because guess what? We're still paying property taxes. You just made it sound different by saying that, oh, it's a rate increase and it's an enterprise.
That's right.
It's still a tax, either way you look at it.
Well, the way they've got that set up with the revenues that are coming, those revenues for your $62.50 and the amount that Damon's paying, the amount that we're all paying, the way they've got that set up to fund that. You know, if they pull that, then they've got to cut they got a cut.
Come on, let's be honest.
That's just the
That's
truth.
just the truth. But it's
But
not happening.
I want to address this part-time stuff. I had a person the other day when I was out, and they said, Donna, you had talked about tourism. And they said, nobody's going to take a vacation in Lexington. And I said, no, I'm not talking about like that kind of vacation. I'm talking about regional tourism. And if you look at our surrounding counties, like, or surrounding cities, like Humboldt and the Strawberry Festival, that festival, when I looked it up, how many people does it bring? 75,000 in attendance to that festival. Soybean Festival, 20,000. The Africana Music and Heritage Festival down in Jackson, 10,000. Paris, the world's biggest fish fry, 30 to 50,000. These communities, you know, they have the Soybean Festival. These communities don't have a monopoly on soybeans or cotton or strawberries. They have leaders that are pushing those events and pushing those things in their communities, which in turn are generating revenues for those communities. And so when I'm talking about increasing our tourism events, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Leaders that are pushing. This is, and it's not just from the tourism standpoint. It's from industrial development. It's from the road repairs. It's from, we have to have people that are serious about running this city and in there full time, working hard to make this a better place for our people.
We're already paying for it. Why can't we get it?
Absolutely. Tim Rhodes said if you're making $85,000 a year, you should be full time.
Heck yeah.
I agree.
I don't get paid $85,000 a year. April gives me $100 a week, and that's it. And she makes me deal with customers, which I love my job.
You love your customers.
I love my job. Damon, I'm not sure how much the cost of the truck is. It was, if I remember correctly, it was somewhere in the $350 range is what it was going to cost for the new truck. Maybe one of the aldermen can pop up in here and give some information on that there. Penny, what can we do to save the animal shelter? So sad to think we will lose it. You know, I'm going to say this here. From what I've been told, when Frances Hensley left the money for that there, she left enough money to build it, and I'm sure to operate it for a couple of years. But her goal was for the community to step up and help fund it from that point forward. David, I see you're up here. If you're still watching, you might be able to chime in some on the comments here with your knowledge of it. You know, when you look back at the animal shelter, I think I saw somewhere where it's costing them $12,000 a month to operate. Now you got to remember, there's a lot of money that's got to be put in food alone for these dogs, and then and then maintaining that shelter. I mean, operational. I mean, it's it's going to burn up some electricity. It's going to burn water. I don't know what. I know that there's money that comes from the city and the county. I was looking at the county budget earlier, and I believe they're giving $12,000. I don't know about the city.
I think somebody said it was like 5,000.
Yeah, I think it's about 5,000. It's not much.
It's not much. Well, and so, like Gordon said, if they've got a long range plan, and I told you before, I had served on that board at one time for a short time, and back then we were constantly doing, fundraising events and having stuff out there all the time. There was volunteers mowing the grass and volunteers coming to help walk the dogs and clean the cages, and I mean if they had a plan and the city and county could that's the key. We've got to unite. We've got to pull this community together, city, county, community, and everybody work together and say, okay, this is a city and county problem. Right. We've got stray dogs and cats all over the county. And so let's pull together and let's work out a plan that works for the center. And it can't be something that is just, I don't think left to the city to do by itself. That's not fair.
No. No, it's not.
And I don't think that the county has made any indication that they want it to be that way. Like I said, they're giving almost 3 times as much right now to the center as the city, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So, I think they have to, we're gonna have to work together to get a solution to our animal issues. We just have to.
You know, and some things have changed. I mean, back in August 1st of last year, they changed the process. The system was working fine the way it was. And, you know, with Doc Davis doing everything, they were giving Doc $1,500 a month, which comes to $18,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they were budgeting $24,000, so $6,000. I don't know what happened to that money. Now, I did go back in November 21, I believe it was. I'd have to go back and look through my notes. I did see where the city board voted to give Beach Lake Animal Hospital $6,000. I don't know if that was a one-time thing, but if this was an annual thing. I don't know.
I don't know the specifics of that. I remember the chatter about it on Facebook, but I don't know the specifics of it.
I'm not sure either. I just haven't done enough research on that there. But, you know, Gordon brought up some good things. I mean, we're spending a lot of money on animal control.
Yes, we are.
You know, maybe if that's something that we can work with the shelter on and help fund, and funding coming from county and city. You know, maybe this is something that we can work on and create an animal control system and have it fall up under the Hensley Center
Yes,
and provide some funding.
that's right.
Got a nice new truck we can give them.
Well, Tim is on here saying on this garbage it was 330,000 he
For the truck.
believes.
Yeah, I think he's right about that's the number I wanted to say.
And he said they're requesting a new truck every 3 years. And there was no vote on that change either. Thank you, Austin.
I see where you are with that there, Tim. Yeah, and Damon and Tim's giving you information, and I believe he's correct on 330 is what it was going to cost. And you're right. They're wanting to cycle trucks every so often, and I think it's based on a lease.
Well, so here's, and I know I keep saying years ago, but this, like, I know that this could be done differently because I've experienced it being done differently.
Right.
Okay? Some departments are richer than other departments. They've
Right.
just got better cash flow.
Right.
They're just richer than others. And so, at budget time, years past, the department heads would sit down. And so, you know, too often times we hear, well, this department needs, we'll take a bucket truck, for instance. We need a bucket truck, okay? Well, this department needs this or this. It's all the taxpayers' equipment, okay?
Right.
So if we've got a bucket truck and Parks and Recs needs to borrow it, let them have it. Let them borrow it. Not every department has to have a bucket truck,
Right.
okay? But at budget time, on these vehicles, the richer departments, let's say, they might have had a 2 or 3 year old vehicle, still in great shape, and maybe one of the poorer ones, or the ones that didn't have that in their budget for that year, they might be able to buy that from one of the other departments. We lived with what we had, okay? We lived with what we had, and we've got to get back to living within our means.
That's you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I don't know what else to say. That is their problem. Is there is so much. It is waste. It is bloat. You know, back home when I served on the board, this was in the 90s.
Yeah.
We had a 1974 Chevrolet K 2500 truck.
Mm-hmm.
It was a military surplus truck. It was painted camo. And
Like a tank, wasn't
let me tell you right now, Public Works, they drove that thing everywhere. We call it streets and sanitation, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They drove that thing everywhere. It never, if it broke down, it was so simple to work on. You didn't have to have a degree, $1 million in equipment to be able to work on it. And they kept it going. Our lawnmowers and stuff, old John Deere's from the 70s. Those guys, if a motor went out, they put a new motor up there.
And we got brand new John Deere tractors with tinted
Four-wheel
windows.
drive. Why you need a four-wheel drive tractor in the city? I look at that there and how much waste that is on these, on all this equipment. And like you're saying, in the past it's worked. Heck, I've seen it work back home. We didn't have to. And I'll say this here, today I passed a fire truck driving through town. Why on earth is a fire truck out?
That ladder truck.
Well, this wasn't a ladder truck. This was a short one.
Oh, well, the ladder truck's all over the place.
Oh, yeah, that thing, yeah. Heck, at the last board meeting, it was parked out there.
I had a lady call me that is over on North Broad. She said, "I want you to come sit on my front porch with me." I said, "What's going on?" She said, "I just want you to come sit on my front porch with me for a while." And she started laughing. And she had already counted it. Like, it's just back and forth and back and forth. Why is that ladder truck rolling if there's not a fire? What are we doing with that?
Now, I will say this here. I will say I'm okay if they take that thing out once a month.
Yeah, it needs
Drive
to
it.
be run.
Yeah, it needs to be run. If they don't have a call, take it out. But you're right. They drive it up and down the streets. I was talking to my brother-in-law. He's retired Air Force Lightbird Colonel. And he is, when he retired from the Air Force, he works at the, and he's a paid firefighter at the local fire department where he's at. And I was asking him, I was like, "Phil, you guys go out to eat all the time?" He's like, "Go out to eat? What do you mean?" I said, "When you're working, y'all go out and eat? Drive trucks and stuff?" "Hell no." I'm like, "What do you do?" He said, "We have a kitchen." He said, "Most time we just bring stuff. We don't cook stuff because we don't want to cook. And we have a lounge. And that's where we stay on our 24-hour shift." I said, "So you don't go out and do stuff?" "No, we have to be by the station. If we get a call, we got to respond." And I'm like, "Well, couldn't you drive a truck there and then respond there with the truck?" He's like, "No, we don't know what truck we're going to need." And I start looking at that there, and I'm like, what trucks in each station? We got 3 stations. Why?
Well, but it seems like that they're all going to one station. It's like there's a lot of training or something going on. I don't really know, James. Thank you, Vicky James. I don't know. There's lots of questions that need to be asked. There just truly is. There's lots of questions that need to be asked.
And that's, and you're right. And
That's expensive equipment. I was going home. That ladder truck was going to respond to it was an ambulance call, because after the ladder truck had been there, here come the ambulance. Huge speed bumps over there by the high school. They never slowed down one time. That ladder truck hit that speed bump, kabam, come down. I'm just sitting there thinking, wow. And I'm not faulting the firemen. If they're dispatched and they're told to go and that's what their instruction has been, that's an awful lot of money to have bouncing over speed bumps like that.
We got to have some kind of, I don't know.
Amanda, I agree with you.
Yeah, and I don't understand that whole point of why are fire trucks responding to EMS calls. I don't understand why we're having a dual role in that scenario there. We have a ambulance service. I mean, is the fire department's going to next want ambulance services, and then we're going to have to hire more firemen who are going to be...
I don't know.
I mean, that's...
I think that was implemented when Doug Akrid was the fire chief. He wanted them all, and I can see them all being, that's an advantage if we have EMS trained firefighters.
I can see that. Yeah, you're all right.
I get that, but there needs to be something that's addressing people, because the people are just seeing this ladder truck just zooming up and down the road all the time. When we were leaving the Listening and Lemonade tour Saturday before last, here it come, right in front of the tent, pulled into Walmart, pulled up in the fire zone. There wasn't a fire. You know what I mean?
Oh, I got a
That's
text
what
here.
people are asking me. That's what people are saying to me.
Um, and that's, and I hear the same thing. And, you're out there now. When we first talked to now, you've met a lot more people. You've had a lot more conversations, and you're starting to hear a lot more what people say.
That's right.
And, and it's,
The,
okay, I just got a text coming in that the fire departments, I'm assuming they're claiming to use the trucks for traffic control.
It was at the high school the other morning at school patrol. How many police cars do we have?
I'm about to say, hold on a second. At the high school, that's
was
not
at-
even the city's department. That's the county
It was
covers that
at
there.
the high school the other day when I went to work.
That
Lisa Franks has put on here, Aldermen need to spend or save money as if it belonged to them personally, and I 100% agree with you, Lisa.
I agree with that too. Yeah, that's
Yeah, it was at the high school the other day when I came through.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh.
It's
I do that there because I got kind of criticized the other night for laughing. I'll tell you what. I laugh because it's so bad, and if I don't laugh at some of it, this stuff would drive me crazy, especially as deep as I'm delved into it at this point.
yeah. Well, and I wanted to address some of these things that I'm hearing, like the restaurants. That's a big thing. People want to know why we can't get restaurants. Well, that's a population thing, But there are some national chain restaurants that we could get.
Right.
So, like, we used to have a Western Sizzling. No, it's not Outback and it's not Longhorn, but we used to have one, and it stayed packed all the time. People loved it. But they will come. I think they've got maybe 100, 120 something stores or restaurants across the country. They would come to a population of our size. There was another one. Who did I look at? Texas Roadhouse. They prefer 20,000 people, but said they would consider locations closer to I-40.
No.
We're pretty close. And if you take Decatur County's population, they're right about 12,000, and you put our 28,000 with it, we can draw that from Decatur County, and that might be a sale point. But the Olive Gardens and the Paneras and the things like that, the Longhorn, we're not going to get those because of our population size. And I think people need to understand that that's kind of what our barrier is there. That was one of the things that I wanted to address with people because they have really voiced their concern about it. Nepotism, that's a topic that has been repeatedly brought up. I think that our leaders and our community, we deserve competence, we deserve fairness. Our citizens deserve to trust the hiring process and to trust our government. And right now they don't. They just really don't. We had, I've had several stories relayed to me. People, and people start calling and people start talking. And, we have to have a merit-based culture because nepotism, when you hire family and friends over qualified people, it's not only unfair, it can be very expensive to the city. It can cost you lots in training, and it's inefficient.
You're right. It's very inefficient.
And so it's like, why do we not have a merit-based culture where we have our jobs posted, we have clear criteria for those, the candidates are selected based off of that? We need, that's something that truly needs to be addressed. And it's not that we have to reinvent the wheel. We're not the first little city that's had an issue with nepotism. MTAST has a nepotism policy for cities our size. We talk about stuff, but we don't do it.
Right. Well, and when what I saw last year when this was brought up, we're championing nepotism.
Yes.
Well, then what about this? Well, no, we're not worried about. No, we're not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that there. So when it got down, it was so watered down that it had no meaning whatsoever.
They talked about it.
And then guess what? even what they created is still going on right now in the city. We still have direct line of and I'm sorry. If you're in charge of a department, you got family under you, there's a direct line because you're in that department. I don't care if it has to go through somebody. That is a direct line in your chain of command. Now, if you're a department head over here and you got family over here in this department, well, you're no longer in that direct line. Mm-hmm. But that's what happens.
I can just tell you from talking to the people in our community, they notice it, they see it, they want it to stop. They want competence over connections. That's what they want.
That's
they
it.
have said it loud and clear. Loud and clear.
You know, Brenda, Damon, you might be right about that. I'm not sure on how that works. He made a comment, until the stranglehold is released on liquor by the drink, big change I'm not going to try coming here. I don't know where we have a stranglehold there.
That's Damon, I don't know either.
You know, now I'm going to be honest with you. I like having a drink every now and then. And Baja, I know I can go up to Baja and get a mixed drink, or I can get me a neat whiskey. I mean, yeah, I don't know how many restaurants have it here. I don't know, but I don't think it's a stranglehold per se. More than likely, it's a financial position. Stocking a bunch of liquor boards, it's expensive.
It's very expensive to do a startup on a bar. Yes, very expensive.
Yeah. Well, yeah, in the city I'm trying, I don't know if Baja, I don't know who else. I mean, that there is.
Main and Monroe has
Main and Monroe does. I've never been in there. So.
You've never been in Main and Monroe?
No, and I won't.
Okay. Main and Monroe has them. Baja has them.
What about the Mexican restaurant?
I don't know.
I think the new one that's over there by Creekside.
Arturo's does, yes,
yeah,
because they had a Cinco de Mayo special right after the chamber cut their ribbon.
Okay.
I remember they had some kind of special mixed drink for Cinco de Mayo.
Okay.
And because
there's a few in town then, and I know that Zimba's. I think that Zimba's over here does.
I don't know.
And I know the one at Crossroads does. But yeah, that there is something. Yeah, that there's a restaurant's choice. I don't know how else to say that one there. All right, let's come back up
Crystal,
in here.
we already addressed that center.
Yeah, if you get a chance, Crystal, run back through the video. I don't know, probably about 10 minutes ago, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm going to say somewhere around about the 20-minute mark, you probably can find a conversation coming up there. Or somebody else, I believe it was Penny, that had made a comment about the whatchamacallit. I've got to scroll back in here too, because I've missed some questions here.
Well, while you're scrolling, can I address
Help
some
yourself.
of these?
Go ahead.
The youth in the community. You know, in Lexington, our sports are great. You know, we've got kids, and we've got soccer complexes and ball fields, but not every kid's an athlete. You know,
That's right.
and we need to create spaces where every kid has an opportunity to shine. Art programs, music, performing arts spaces. We've got plenty of spaces here in our community, from our little theater to at Kaywood to Lexington High School and their gymnasium. A coordinated effort with community volunteers that could easily be done for our children with very little expense. You know, and we used to years ago. They would perform down at the Civic Center. I don't really remember what the name of that group was, but there was an adult performing arts thing. You know, they're like, why can't we have a sunset symphony out by our beautiful lake? You know, so many things that can be done, but again, you have to have leaders that lead.
Right. Well, and you're right. The focus has been
raising property taxes and salaries.
Yeah,
that's all I've heard for 2 years.
That's really what it gets down to. I'm going to come back here. Just matter of fact, while we're talking about that, and I want to, Crystal, this is something that might interest you. talking about the arts. I'm sure you guys have seen some of the past videos we've done, some of the original podcasts with Blake and I. We had a backdrop of a bunch of pictures, and this kind of ties in with the animal shelters. The reason I was mentioning you, Crystal. What we've done is we have a team of people just working together to try to build this here. We're working with the school systems, and we're calling it Arts for Animals. And what it is we're engaging kids and getting them different types of arts. We're going to have four quarters. We're going to have different art projects for kids to do in each one of our schools, county and city. So it's going to cover everybody. And then what we're going to do is we're going to generate revenue to help the Hensley Center out. Our goal is, as we can get organization, unfortunately I've been tied up with an election. I haven't had time to put into it.
Been a little busy, haven't you, James?
Yeah, but what we're doing here is all these projects, after we collect all these projects here, there'll be a winner picked. And what we're doing is, I believe, Lauren Lewis can probably comment and hear exactly what we're doing. I think it's K through 4, 5 to 8, and then 9 to 12. So we're going to grade. We're going to take and pick a winner from each one of those groups, and the winner will get a prize, and then there'll be a donation made to the Hensley Center. But what will happen is all of these art projects will go back in, and the class will pick which one they want to send. You know, we've got, when you look at it, there's 7 elementary schools, and then we'll look at which are K through 8 in the county, and then you might as well say we got 8 between LMS and Kwood. So what'll happen is, I mean, you think about it, all these students here present a project, and what we're going to do is we're going to try to build a channel where we can take a YouTube channel to do this here. We're going to do a Spirit Award for whichever class is doing the greatest thing. And then we're going to there'll be some live art. There'll be just different projects that we're working on. But really, when it gets down into it, we're going to auction off all of these, with all these kids. Thank you for chiming in there, Lauren. We're going to auction off their art. And, you know, a minimum bid of $1. Pretty much every parent's going to jump in and bid $1 on their child's artwork. So if we're figuring roughly 3,500 kids, I think, between the 2 county and the city school systems, well, that can generate $3,500 every quarter for the shelter. And we're involving our children, and hopefully our goal is to change the perception of animals and how they're maintained, their well-being, and a generational change, I guess, is the best way to put it. And at the same time, we're going to raise money to help address these issues with it.
That's a great program.
So yeah, it's going to double dip in here and help us out with getting students in art more so than what a lot of them have, and hit the animal shelter at the same time. Going back, I missed a comment up here. Does the fire department bill for calls for accidents?
I don't have any idea.
I don't know. I don't have an answer to that there. Brenda, I really don't know.
In the past, that was public service.
Yeah.
But in the past, what happened was the police would be on site, and they would work the accident, and then if there was glass in the road or something, the fire truck would come and wash the glass out of the street. Now the fire truck responds to every accident. Right. Everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Lisa McKee has said, Donna, do we not have a conflict of interest policy?
You want to answer that there?
It would not appear that we have a conflict of interest policy because the votes don't reflect that.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. I thought.
Thus, the nepotism being brought up in the community. That's what people are asking me.
Yeah, that's. Do they hire consultants because they have unqualified employees? I missed this when you posted this, Brenda. If you can just chime in right quick and tell us, if you can just kind of clarify that up for us. Are we hiring? I think what it's asking is, are we hiring outside sources when we have unqualified or we don't have qualified people to do the job? Yeah, I'm going to say yes to that there. An example I think would be stuff that's Dixon Street. The city doesn't have any way of paving anything, and this comes back over here, back somebody can't think of the street that the LPD is on in the city hall that just got repaved.
Monroe, First.
No, First Street. First Street. Yeah, to me, yeah. Oh, you're asking about nepotism for this reason. That's kind of hard to actually call to say if that's true or not. But yet, yeah, we do have to outsource stuff that we just don't have the ability to do. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. I was told at one point that the county highway department had purchased a machine for somewhere in the neighborhood of about $400,000 that can do the paving.
Interesting.
Now, if that's the case, then why can't we take in, if they have a way to generate the asphalt and do it? I mean, I wouldn't mind having them bid on. I mean, that brings revenue into the county, and we're getting it done probably at a reasonable rate for the city. And we're helping two entities. We're keeping it all in-house, I guess is the best way to put it,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Right. But Vivian had a good comment here. She said, tell people to call family and friends and set a vote date. I had one of my friends, and they said, we need to do like a vote competition. So Monday through Wednesday, let's, Pope subdivision against
Cardinal Estates, yeah.
Cardinal Estates, or Hayes, Maywood, and Weaver, or whatever. And I got tickled, but I thought, that's a pretty good idea.
That
Gets
actually
people out.
is.
Gets people out to vote.
That is a really good idea. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
The cost of consultant fees due to nepotism or otherwise. And I get what you're saying now. I think I know what you're saying now. I don't know if that makes a difference in the fees or not. I do know that we have preferred consultants that we use. TLM is one. I think is it A&H is another one that we use a lot of. And I don't know if that's because of availability or because there is personal contacts in there. Now, I will say something too that kind of shocked me the other night when the Dixon Street project was approved. What we were told in that meeting was they were expecting about $2 million for this project.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes back in, and it comes in around about $5.5 million. Okay, well, there was 3 bids. I don't remember hearing, I think the first one was around about $2.3 million. But the company has a bad reputation, so we chose not to go with them. And then the next company was the $5.5 million. And we had to take and get a reduction in what we're getting to get it back down to a feasible amount. Yeah. I do question in that scenario there, are we patting the buddies back and giving them a contract? And then if you think about it, for somebody to be somewhere around about $2 million and then the next bid to be 5.5, there's some major discrepancies there.
Huge discrepancy.
Yeah, that don't add up.
The math ain't math.
No, it ain't math. Not at all.
Damon, he's got a comment in here. If the city and county would take the time to get together for a complex for concerts, performing arts, that type of thing, then we could increase tourists. But where would they stay if they came? Well, we've got we've got
In town?
three. Yes,
3 in town.
and then we've got Crossroads. They've got a brand new hotel.
Yeah. And then they got,
So-
they got the Knights Inn, which I won't stay there, but
Well,
And they
yeah,
got
I
them-
forget about that. There's
Yeah.
2 at Crossroads. That's
3.
right.
There's one on this side.
Oh, that's right. There
Is
is
it America's
one.
Best, I think it
That's
is.
right. America's Best, and then the new one, and then the Knights Inn.
And I know they've
Then
been
we've
doing
got-
renovation over at
We've
one
got
that's over there by
3
Paul's
here.
Fitness. Yeah.
That's right.
And they got the
So-
Days Inn, and then
Yeah.
so yeah, I think we have.
We've got the think about ball tournaments or soccer tournaments. You know, when my son was growing up, he was on a travel team, and so and he was fortunate enough that he might get picked for an all-star one year or whatever, and we'd travel. Well, if our game wasn't until 3 or 4 o'clock, of course we were staying in hotels, so we were building their city hotel tax. And if the games weren't until 3 or 4 o'clock, there was, we'd get up and girls, we'd go shopping or walk through their downtown or grab a bite to eat. All those kids had to eat. Those are the things that I'm talking about when I'm talking about regional tourism. That's what I'm talking about.
If the company had a bad reputation, why invite them to bid? I think by law they have to open the bids up, and that's the reason that they are allowed to bid on that there, Lisa. Crystal, I don't know if Pin Oak has closed yet or not. Do you know if they have closed it or they've started
Pin Oak
tearing it down?
Lodge?
Yeah.
I believe they have started renovation on that, hadn't they?
Or from what I understand, they're tearing it down and building a new one.
They're
or is it-
building
or-
a whole, yeah,
yeah.
that's what I thought.
Yes,
too.
I don't know if that's open right now, Crystal. I don't know. I don't know what process the state is in with that there, which is $60 million that the state's pumping into.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
It's
they're
a
pumping a
lot.
lot of money.
It's a lot.
No, the lodge
The
is
lodge
closed.
is
Thank you,
closed.
Trent.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's when that gets open, that's more tourism,
That's right.
and that's something to look forward to. How long is it going to take to pay off some of the debt and the existing loans? That's a good question. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the biggest chunk of that debt is with LexNet.
Well, it's only about 28 million left.
I think it's less than that. Now, I want to say it was like
Right.
I
So
think
that's not the biggest chunk of it. If it's 28 million,
well,
that's 60.
I think that's the biggest
One.
single debt that we
One.
have.
Right.
And if I remember correctly, that was a 20-year. With the bond was 20 years.
But Brad said that he felt like that
It'll
was,
get paid off. Well, we're coming under budget for one thing,
right.
so there'll be revenue that's not being used off of the bond. We're in early, and I don't know. If I remember correctly, the way the mapping system was, I believe it was 4 maps, and as we got each one of those map systems done, completed, and inspected, then I think at that point we could start realizing the grant monies. But I think even part of the grant.
It's completed, I believe, because I shared it on my Facebook.
Yeah,
I
it
think
is
National
completed.
Electric put it
Yeah.
out this week. It's done.
Yeah, it's done, but they
Yes.
still got to get it fully inspected before we receive. So
I
we're still
see.
waiting on grant
I
money to
see.
come
I
in,
see.
which will help pay off on that. But still, I mean, LexNet's not going to be it's not going to generate enough revenue to really. I'm going to say probably 4 or 5 years before we're treading well above water at that point there. I mean, right now we're just.
We're floating.
Yeah, we're floating because we got to get enough customers on to
Yeah.
generate the revenue to take and pay the debt off. So,
Yeah.
how long is it going to take?
We've got to first know how much money we've got. We've got to have a spending plan. We've got to have a debt reduction plan. That's why I say zero-based budgeting. You start at zero. Tell me what you got to have to run this. Keep our critical services. What have we got to have?
No.
Let's start at zero, and then we're going to build on top of zero. Now, the mayor will be the one that will be sitting down with the department heads and making this budget and presenting it. But when it's presented, that's when those questions will have to be asked.
And the mayor, if he's doing his job, should be
should be doing that
He should be doing that there before it ever gets to the board.
before it ever gets to the board.
He's almost like the budget committee,
He's the head of your city.
right? Before
That's right.
before it gets voted in.
That's right.
So yeah, that's to say that there is it's near impossible. And if anyone is telling you, oh, we're going to have it paid off in 10, 15 years, yeah, there are maturity dates with bonds. But when you're starting to look at these things here, I mean, let's say tomorrow we have, God forbid, a tornado came through here and did a ton of damage, and we had to borrow more money. So it's really hard to gauge how long it's going to take to pay something off. You know, the maturity date on the bond is going to be the key thing that you're going to look for, is the end date when it'll be paid off. But yeah, normally you can go back in your budget and look at debt services and see how it's being paid down.
That's right. Our problem is
when it gets if it gets paid down a little bit, oh, we need to bring it back up there.
Just keep at it.
Yeah, we got to get more in there.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got to talk about?
Well, jobs, industrial development. You know, I think that is a key to the city, to our development. We've got to increase our jobs. We've got to have more and better paying jobs coming in. We've got to have workforce development, obviously, to train people for those jobs. But before you can get to that part, we've got to get the city to where, like, I was driving in the other day from Jackson, had a doctor's appointment, and I was driving back. The welcome sign's just like falling over. Then you get to the street, and the street is like this the whole way. My mom had a saying, and God rest her soul, but this stuck with me and Brent. It stuck with me and Brent. If you've got something that's wonderful and beautiful and you don't maintain it and you don't keep it up, it's like wearing a wrinkled tuxedo. That's what my mother would say. She'd say it's like
analogy.
wearing a wrinkled tuxedo.
It's a good analogy.
And so we can't, like right now, if we were to bring people in, what would an industrial prospect say riding down our streets right now?
That is our very first impression when they pull them in.
Absolutely.
That is
And the
very
welcome
first
sign is
impression.
broken, it's falling
It's just-
over. And our leadership Henderson County class, years ago, y'all may have seen these through the town. There's these little governor's 3-star award things. And people may not have a clue, but that was a lot of work for us to get that first governor's 3-star award. There were committees from Nashville coming down here all the time. We had to have things in place that showed we were ready for tourism, we were ready for job creation, we were ready for economic development. That's what created Leadership Henderson County. I was in the first class of Leadership Henderson County. We had to have a Leadership Henderson County class to get our 3-star award with the state. And when you have that 3-star award, then it helps you when you're going to get these grants and doing all these other things. Damon was talking about the city and the county working together to get this place built for performing arts or concerts or whatever. I've had a lot of the people in the community, they want a place where they can go have gospel singings again. They could have them down at the Civic Center, and we tore it down. Now they have no place to have their gospel singings anymore. I've had many people ask me for that. And so if you look at the Tennessee Art Commission, they have got all kinds of they've got an ABC, which is Arts Builds Community Grants. Some of these grants are like $200,000. Because our town is under 10,000 people, USDA federal grants, some of those are 100% grants. There is no match. Some of them are 75-25. You know, Tennessee's grants, state grants, they're usually 50-50. We have to do some buy-in on those. But there is all kinds of things. But again, we have to have people that are working that direction.
Agreed.
And we don't have that right now.
We've had it in spurts, and then for some odd reason we lose it. And it's like, yeah. Decisions that happen blow my mind around here at times when you actually see somebody who's is going to benefit the city or the county.
That's accurate.
And then we just, whether we run them off, they're not part of the good old boy system, and we don't maintain them. There's.
It's easy, and I want people to hear this. It's easy to point out all the things that are wrong. It's easy to do that.
Well, sure it is.
I had a boss one time that says, "Don't ever bring a problem without a solution," and that's always stuck with me. And if he's watching, he'll know who he is. One of the best people I've ever worked for. But that was his motto: don't bring a problem without a solution. And so it's easy for us to stand back and say, well, golly, we should do this or we should do that. But it takes experience, and it takes wisdom, and it takes to make those decisions, to jump in there and say, okay, this is what we're going to have to do. And did we lose feed?
No.
Okay.
We're so good.
And then have the courage then, after that decision is made, to say, okay, here's how we're going to do it. Here's our 12-month plan. Here's our 5. Here's our 10. Here's our long-term strategic plan. So we've got to listen to one another. We've got to come together. Leadership is about delivering results for our people. And our people, from being out in this community in these past several weeks, they don't feel that way at all.
I don't feel that way. I'll be honest, I don't feel that way. I look at some of the stuff that I see happen. I almost feel like it's designed to patronize us, just to kind of keep us off, to say, oh yeah, well, I've done this here. Okay, well, yeah, you did, and that's fine and dandy. But has it been anything that has substance that is going to benefit us long term, or is it just a putting lipstick on a pig? And I see that happen a lot around here. And then, and when I question that happening, of course, I'm ostracized because I'm pointing these things out.
You're the pot stirrer.
Oh, yeah, I'm the pot stirrer. Well, heck, I got a shirt that even says so. What I want, you brought up planning, and I think Lisa had mentioned something about planning as well. We lose so much because we don't have plans. We don't have long-range goals, and we're not working towards them. And and when I hear a 5-year plan, I'm not picking a department head, but I'm going to use this as an excuse because it was brought out. Well, I've got a 5-year plan, but it could all change. Well, then you don't have a 5-year plan. You got something on paper what you'd like to do for the next 5 years, but it ain't going to guarantee it's going to happen. And you keep emphasizing that, well, I don't want to share this because it may all change. Mm-hmm. Well, then you don't have a plan. Because if you got a plan, it ain't changing. That's what you have a plan to accomplish a goal. Right. And that's the end of it. This isn't rocket science. In
the business world that I have lived in for the last 25 years, you've got clear goals. And it's not a pie in the sky. You've got a clear goal. This is what I'm going to do. Here's the steps I'm going to have to take to get to where I'm trying to get to. Those are measurable. If you've got a 12-month goal for spending reduction, let's say, we got a 12-month goal for spending reduction. At the end of the first quarter, pretty much if you're on track or if you're not. It's a measurable goal. And so, to me, that's what we don't have. We don't have a plan. We're just doing.
Well, and I'm tell you what, I'm going to probably upset people by saying this one too. The problem is we don't have the people, and it's not just the leadership. It's the people that leadership are hiring under them. We don't have the right people in place. We can't put somebody who has no experience in a field in charge of a field. It just that's ludicrous. As a banker, and I'm a baker,
yes.
Are you going to hire me to be your top dog?
No.
Why not? I mean, it's common sense, but that's what happens around here. And yeah, is it, it's, everything is not negative. It's reality. And I think that there is a difference in trying to get people to understand things. Is we're talking about reality. We're not talking about, it's nothing personal. It's not trying to beat somebody down, but it is just talking about what is our problems. And it's the same conversations that we're having right now. It's what the people are telling you when you're out there talking to them. That's it. This is all. It's always they see it.
It's the same.
Right.
You're right, and it's like, and it's not. I mean, I've had some people talk about the youth. I've had some people talk about, a lot of people, the beautification of our city. It's very, very important to them. I had a lady. She said, "I see where they're building this community farmers market thing." She said, "What about if we had community gardens where we could teach our kids how to grow a radish or a carrot And I thought, what a fantastic idea is that, They think the radish comes off the shelf at Walmart.
Yeah.
They don't know that you grow.
Well, now we'll say Cherry Farms down in Regan.
Yes.
Stopped by the other day. We gave them a donation.
Yes.
And that's what they're doing. Is they're actually going back to homesteading to teach a lifestyle that we've all overlooked because everybody is buried into a cell phone.
That's right.
I think that's a wonderful thing. But that is an excellent idea to have a community garden.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the problem.
But that's coming from the citizens. That wasn't a Donna idea. That's coming from. That's what I'm saying. People just want somebody to listen to them, to respect them, to try to build the community that they want.
Right.
And they don't. They just don't feel like their voices are heard at all. I had a lady, she was talking about the property taxes. She's been working in Jackson. She was supposed to be able to retire. I think she said next July. Her husband could already retire, but she's going to retire. She said, "I'm retired." But her husband's afraid to retire because he don't know what's going to happen with the property taxes. And he doesn't want to go ahead and retire and then have lost, her full-time paying job and be on retirement. And, then there'll be some people that'll say, well, they should have planned better, or they should have did this, or they should have did that. These people have worked their whole lives, just like this lady I was talking to you about that's living on $1,200 a month.
They contributed to society.
She worked her whole life.
I mean, and you know what, and I hear that there too. I'll tell you what, not everybody is going to work a corporate white collar job. We need blue collar workers.
Absolutely.
We have to have people, serving burgers or waitressing at a restaurant. Is it a transitional job? Sure, maybe a transitional job to some. To some, that's where they want to be. And does it pay as well as the white collar jobs? Obviously not. But it doesn't mean that the job's any less important. We all have something important to offer in that aspect of it. It's and we can't gauge our success based on the house that we live in or the vehicle that we drive. And those people there that are sitting there on the edge, all we do is we continue to push them closer and closer and closer to poverty level. For what? I'm going to tell you right now, since COVID, this world has gotten extremely expensive.
It has.
And it doesn't make any sense why. The only thing I say is it's being steered. Which, I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories here. Anything else? Because I still have one question we're going to have to get into.
I don't think so. I just, let's see here. We've got early voting starting Friday, guys. I guess y'all, surely my positions are clear by now. As much social media has been out there. Smart spending. We've got to have good, efficient budgets. We have got to have government that listens to our citizens and respects our citizens, votes the will of the people, voices the voice of the people. If I'm elected, I will be your voice. I promise you that. before we entered this campaign, Brent and I sat down and I talked with him about it. We prayed about it. I've prayed about it every day since, because I think the people truly, we need to have educated votes in this election. You have said that how many times tonight? And we truly have to have educated votes. And so, yeah, I think at the end of the journey that God's going to ask us, what'd you do with what I gave you? He's going to ask you that. He's going to ask me that. He's going to ask every one of us that. And I think that we can pull together as a community and build this strong town that we all want.
Right.
I believe we can do that, James.
I think it can. I agree with you. I think with the right leadership, and we just don't have that right this moment. You're right. We need, first and foremost, we need representatives. But those representatives also have to be leaders. And that is something that we have been failing at for a long time.
For some time.
All righty. You know, I'm just going to go ahead and give you a preface and let you guys know we're getting ready to take in. The question was asked, as I've been asked, is to ask every one of the candidates where they stand on the video that's been going around about the young man and the LPD. So we're gonna talk about the elephant in the room, about getting all that out of the way. But I want to note something that you said and something I just said: representation, because it's going to play a part in this conversation. I don't know who you've talked to. I know the people that I have talked to, and so we're gonna jump in here and talk about this here right quick. And boy, I'm hating to see the comment section fly on this one here. What is your impression of what happened in that video from Saturday night?
I'm going to say that the police chief has issued a statement, and he says that they are doing an investigation and that they have brought the district attorney in on that investigation to ensure that it's fair and that it's accurate. There has been tons of comments made on social media. There's been so many different shares, and it's, we don't have all the information of what happened. We've got, how long's that video? A minute? 2 minutes?
Yeah, so I would guess somewhere in there, I'm guessing.
I would say this, when a law enforcement officer is at your car and he gives you a lawful order to exit your vehicle, you should exit your vehicle, James.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And it is a lawful order.
Yes, sir, it is.
Don't get no argument from me on that one.
There you go.
That's what it is. And I'm gonna.
Yes, Julie, comply.
That's
right.
it. That's
a lawful
comply.
order.
Now
Here's the thing, though, James. With a police officer, when you're in a traffic stop, I tried to put, I tried to, if you're in a traffic stop and you've got a person sitting in a vehicle and you're asking them to exit that vehicle, and they're refusing to exit that vehicle. Do they have a gun? Do they have a knife? You don't know. You, as the person sitting in the vehicle, may know that you don't have a knife or a gun and that you're not trying to hurt that police officer, but that police officer doesn't know that. And in that moment, that police officer's in charge. You're not.
No, like I said, I don't disagree with that there. Like I said,
You're pot stirring?
I'm pot stirring.
I just don't think we have all the facts to pot stir.
I agree with that there. We don't have all the facts, and I'm going to go only by what we've seen in the video. I think we got 2 wrongs in there. And I think that we try our best to stay divided. I mean, I think it has become part of human nature now that we have to pick a side and lock in, and that's where we are. and we overlook sometimes what's right and wrong. Yes, by all means, he should have complied. He should have exited the vehicle and not resisted. Period. There's no question in my mind about that. At the same time, the language bothered me. That is just that.
That's adrenaline too, though, James.
Yeah, but I'm tell you what though, if you can't handle adrenaline when you're in that situation there, how can you ensure public safety? There's a difference. As an officer in the military, I had to maintain a proper decorum at all times.
Right.
And there was no exceptions.
Right.
And and the difference in the military against what happens out here in the civilian world, we fall under the UCMJ. It's a whole different damn ball game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if you get captain's masters, it ain't like the civilian courts here. They don't give you a slap on the wrist and send you on your way and put you on probation.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it works. It's
different.
It's a whole lot different, and it's more stringent because there is a code of ethics that we have to maintain, and it's an unspoken rule. But we have the UCMJ to guide us. We have standard operating procedure.
Mm-hmm.
But our conduct has to be exemplary of military service.
Right.
And that's kind of how I see it. There's two sides on this thing here, and I think that there's wrong on both sides. I think we do need to see what the DA's investigation leads. I will say I wish that we've got one video, and we know that there's supposedly a body cam video out there. To me, that would be transparency by providing that there. I don't know how on earth not providing that body cam footage is going to how it infects an open investigation. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, it's
that may be their written policy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, we
I
can make
don't
assumptions
know.
all we can do at this point. But yeah, like I said, my position on that there is I think that there was two wrongs in this here, and yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I would just say to the citizens, if the police pull us over, me, you, or anybody else, and they tell us to get out of the vehicle, get out of the vehicle.
That's it. Don't resist. And and then like I said, it is what it is. The language has zero to do with the questions at hand regarding the incident. It's easy to judge with a one-sided story. Well, I mean, again, as I stated, my conversation here was based on the video, and the language does has an impact because I expect professionalism out of the people who are here to protect us. I mean, I don't think that that's being one-sided by any means at all. It's just something that I saw on the video, and that's my opinion. On the rules of evidence 16.
Wendy says it's the law under Rules of Evidence 16, so that's why the body cam's not being released.
All right.
I see. I
Yeah,
don't know enough
I don't know
about
it
it.
yet.
That's
I don't
why
either.
I said policy. I didn't know it was a law. Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of information we just don't have right now, and we'll see how the investigation goes with it. And I'm not going to delve in too deep, but that's not the only investigation that's going on with LPD and the DA at this moment. I'll bring more to that as more information comes. It's something to be said. I'm not going to. I probably need to just be quiet on this one here, but we're going to leave that one alone for right now. I am going to say something though, and I'm sure again I'm going to stir the pot here. I was looking. I get so many links sent to me, and then of course I share out to people who's interested, want me to keep them updated. There was a WBBJ link sent to me, and the person who sent it sent a screenshot from it, and it's from Sheriff Duke. Now, I'm not sure if it was Brian or Shauna who made the comment, but talked about boycotting the businesses who I don't know what the term is here, who support WBBJ. You know, I'm going to say this here, with keeping that in mind. This morning I had a lady come in and talk to me about concerns that she's had. And she was adamant about the information that her identity, and I honestly I don't know her name. You know, I never called it, never asked it.
Right.
But that I'm kept that
Confidential.
And you know, and a lot of people message me quite often. People will stop by and talk to me, and it's the same thing. I don't say my name because people are worried about the backlash. Well, when I see a county sheriff who's the top dog in our law enforcement community saying to boycott something, you know, however you want to take that kind of, you know, if a citizen's sitting here saying that, hey man, the top law enforcement guys up here boycotting them, are they going to do the same thing to me if I speak my mind, if I exercise my First Amendment rights? And that's a concern, and I think I understand a lot more now after reading that particular message that came across, and why people are truly concerned about backlash. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I see it. It's just one of those things. Let's get something positive to end the note on.
I want to say thank you, Sam. Lisa McKee said, "Don't be a fool. Vote Donna Lou." Now, anybody that knows me knows that my name is Donna Lou. Years ago, James, you'll get a kick out of this. When we played softball, back then we didn't have near what we have now. But you know, we were blessed. We had a wonderful coach that coached us in softball in the summer, and then we went right into basketball in the winter. And I don't even remember what happened that got this started. But Lisa, do you remember "Cool Donna Lou"? That was what they would. That's what they would holler. So it's just an old funny. It's just an old funny thing from softball days. But yeah, anybody that knows me well, that's my name. It's Donna Lou.
Donna Lou.
Donna Lou. That's it.
Alrighty. Well, we're gonna close this here up. Thank you for coming on tonight, Donna. Clay, if you're watching, I appreciate you coming on too.
It was good to see you, Clay.
Got some good information out there.
Yes.
Keep fattening it up.
Lexington, please go vote. Early voting starting Friday. Please go vote. Please go vote.
That's you know, that's it. I mean, Friday. This Friday is the first day for early voting, and it runs through September 6th. Election day is September 11th.
Right.
I'm like you. Go vote. Go vote. Go vote. If you want to fix problems, now's the time to fix them.
That's right.
Because they're come September 11th, probably around about 7 or 8 o'clock that night.
Well, it's probably about 8.
Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah.
Will they announce those? I need to call the election commission.
As far as I
Will
know,
they announce them?
Z93 will do it. We're going to try to keep up with it.
Z99 will do it.
Z99.
Yeah, but I'll ask that question with Robin tomorrow about the early voting first and then the ballots or whatever.
Well, from what I gather, I think you can get early voting updates.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, I get them. Yeah, I'll get them. Yeah.
But I think that all it is just a total number of not who they voted for, but how they voted. Well, let me rephrase that there. It's not. It's a total number of voters per day, if I remember correctly.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll know if 200 people have voted.
You're going to know by Tuesday what kind of voter turnout this election is going to turn, because those first several days of early voting is going to be a very strong indicator if you're going to have a low voter turnout or a large voter turnout. So we're still working and still knocking.
Well, that's it.
Thank you guys. Thanks for joining.
Thank you guys, and we will see you tomorrow night. We got Jimmy White, who's running for Alderman position 5. And actually, Jimmy is the incumbent, so he's looking to maintain his seat. He will be in here at 7 o'clock, and we'll get it going then. Y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you so much.
Thank